There's a truth so rarely spoken that when a man finally sees it, it changes the way he understands women forever. Not just in dating, but in marriage, in long-term relationships, in the quiet, invisible emotional wars that play out behind the mask of commitment. And that truth is this: a woman's heart is not tethered to vows, to rings, or to routines. It's tethered to emotional gravity, and when that gravity fades, even the most faithful woman can begin to drift, not always into physical betrayal, but into something far more dangerous, into emotional affairs, into attention-seeking, into that subtle hunger for validation from another man that starts out as innocent and ends up as emotional adultery. And what makes it so haunting is that it often begins with silence, with a glance that lingers a little too long, with a laugh at a joke that wasn't that funny, with a message sent late at night that gets deleted before morning, because what she's craving isn't just attention, it's emotional resonance, the feeling of being seen again, the feeling of being alive again. And the terrifying part is, she may not even be aware she's doing it, because the human heart does not always ask for permission before it starts wandering. And this is where most men make their first fatal mistake. They believe that once a woman has committed to them, her emotional needs are fixed, permanent, already secured. But emotional security is not a one-time event. It's a living, breathing thing, and when it starts starving, it will go hunting in places you never imagined. And this isn't about blaming women or demonizing wives. It's about understanding what really drives female attraction beneath the surface of loyalty, and why even a woman who loves her husband can still feel magnetized by another man's energy. Because women aren't attracted to logic. They're attracted to emotional experiences, to feelings they can't control, to presence, to subtle dominance, to a man who makes her feel something she hasn't felt in a long time, and often that something isn't new. It's simply what she used to feel with you, back when the fire was still burning, back when you looked at her like she was the only woman in the world, back before the weight of routine dulled your eyes and buried your masculine edge beneath 1,000 quiet compromises. And the tragedy is that most men have no idea it's even happening, because they confuse loyalty with emotional satisfaction, as if the ring on her finger means she's no longer capable of craving the thrill of being pursued, the validation of being desired, the sacred tension of not knowing exactly where she stands. And that's the paradox. The more a man clings to the structure of the relationship, the more she quietly yearns for emotional risk, for chaos, for something that makes her feel not safe, but wanted. And it starts with subtle things. She begins posting thirst-trap selfies even though she's married, starts DMing exes just to check in, starts spending more time at the gym or dressing up in ways she hasn't in years. Not because she wants to cheat, but because she wants to feel again, and attention becomes her drug of choice. Because where emotion is absent, validation becomes a substitute, and she will chase that feeling in the eyes of strangers if she no longer feels it in the eyes of her man. And now the question that breaks most men's hearts: how does this happen to good women? To women who once swore they'd never betray their husbands, who once blushed when you touched their hand, who used to light up when you walked into a room. And the answer is almost never that she stopped loving you. It's that she stopped feeling you. And that distinction is the gateway into everything, because emotional affairs don't start with sex. They start with invisibility, with a slow erosion of polarity, with the death of masculine presence. And presence is not about always being there physically. It's about creating the kind of emotional gravity that pulls her back into her feminine without even trying. And when that gravity is gone, when your masculine edge softens into passive predictability, she stops reacting to you emotionally and starts reacting to men who remind her that she's still wanted. And this is the part no one wants to talk about, because it doesn't fit the fairy tale, it doesn't fit the happy ending narrative, but it is the truth. Female attraction is not a moral calculation. It's a sensory experience, and when a woman stops feeling a man, she will unconsciously begin looking for reasons to justify the ache that's already forming. A man, she will unconsciously begin looking for reasons to justify the ache that's already forming. And this is why many married women start forming deep emotional bonds with male co-workers, personal trainers, old friends, spiritual advisors, even strangers online, because those men don't carry the baggage of routine. They offer novelty, attention, unpredictability, and more than anything, they offer the illusion of choice, the illusion that she is still desirable, still alive in the eyes of the masculine. And it's never just the man himself that attracts her. It's the way he sees her, the way he mirrors back a version of her that she's forgotten, the way he awakens a side of her that's been buried beneath diapers and schedules and dinner plans. And while men often chase sex when they feel disconnected, women chase emotional significance, and that chase can be far more dangerous because it doesn't always look like cheating. It looks like texting a male friend more than her husband, like sharing secrets with another man instead of with you, like laughing a little too hard at a co-worker's jokes and then defending it with, "He's just funny." And what's even more haunting is that the deeper she gets, the more she will start to resent her man without knowing why, because part of her feels guilty, and the only way to justify that guilt is to subconsciously make him the villain, to blame him for the distance, for the boredom, for the emotional hunger she's now feeding somewhere else. And that's how marriages begin to collapse from the inside out, not because of one dramatic betrayal, but because of 1,000 unspoken moments where her heart leaned elsewhere. And the truth is, most women don't want to leave their husbands. They want their husbands to become the men they used to admire, the men they used to feel alive around, the men who used to make them laugh, make them feel feminine, make them feel seen. And that's the secret most men never hear. She doesn't want someone new. She wants you, but only if you can reignite the polarity, reclaim the presence, restore the tension that once made her feel like the most desired woman in the room. And to do that, you have to stop trying to be safe and start being present. Stop being passive and start being felt. Stop hiding behind routines and start leading again, not controlling her, but pulling her into your world with the same emotional gravity that once made her heart race. Because feminine energy craves direction, craves emotional leadership, craves a man who isn't afraid to take charge of his life, his purpose, and yes, his woman. And if you think that's toxic, you've already lost, because attraction is not politically correct. It's primal, and women aren't drawn to men who bend over backwards to be liked. They're drawn to men who stand firm in who they are and invite her into a reality that she can feel. And that's what's missing in most marriages. Feeling, not comfort, not stability, but emotional aliveness. And without it, even the most loyal woman can begin to stray, not physically but emotionally. And once she finds that emotional resonance in another man, it's almost impossible to put the genie back in the bottle, because now she has contrast. Now she knows what she's been missing. Now she feels seen again. And if you don't wake up to that, if you don't rise into the kind of man who commands presence, who embodies purpose, who leads with strength and softness, with intensity and restraint, then you will slowly lose her, not to another man, but to a version of herself that no longer needs you to feel alive. And that's the real danger of emotional affairs. They don't start with betrayal, they start with absence, and where the masculine disappears, another masculine energy will take its place. And you'll never see it happen, because it doesn't look like cheating. It looks like her spending more time on her phone, like her going silent at dinner, like her smiling when she reads a message and then saying, "It's nothing," but it's never nothing, because attention is currency. And when a woman starts investing that currency outside the relationship, your emotional bank account is already in the red. So don't ask if she's loyal. Ask if she still feels you. Ask if your presence still stirs something in her. Ask if you still carry that quiet fire that made her melt when you said her name.